everybody. It's been a long time since I feel like I've sat down and chatted, and a lot has happened. First of all, I want to note this is the bio bodysuit. Ooh, super cute. Buff Bunny is launching, or I guess once I post this, has just launched their new braid collection in Tones of the Earth. And you betcha that I bought some stuff and probably got some stuff from my mom. So I'll do a review of that once I get it. Anyways, today what I wanted to talk about were my thoughts on bodybuilding. I've started compiling a list as I was just like going through my process the last few weeks of prep, the back end of prep, some of the struggles, and I've also written down some notes on things post-show as well. This video is going to be basically me just talking at you, so bear with me. I think there are some good tidbits of information here, but yeah, there's some things that I wanted to actually speak about my whole experience, and just keep you in the loop. Okay, thing number one is you're not just committing to prepping for a show and then being done on that show date. If you want to be healthy, you really need to commit to a post-show transition. Your hormones are all out of whack. You're very susceptible to gaining fat, and your mind is just all over the place as well because you've just been depriving yourself of food. You're very tired. You got an amazing post-show meal and now you're like, oh my gosh, I just want to eat that all the time, right? So something that I didn't realize is that it's not just the 20-week prep or whatever. There's basically like a post-prep or like a prep after prep. Basically what I'm trying to say is that post-show should also be almost just as meticulous for 6 to 8 weeks is what I was told by my coach. And I remember the day when I got the check-in that said that, and I was just crushed because, you know, you're at the end of this journey almost, and you're like, I just want to get back to normal. If you're not like a lifetime competitor yet, or you don't have a pro goal, yada yada. So that is just something that I want to put out there. Like, you need to know that you're committing to probably like a year of being very mindful of your health and like probably weighing out your food and tracking it and bringing your meals places and needing to go to the gym every single day. So that's definitely something I didn't think of before getting into this. All right, next thought is the more of a question. Like, do you want to commit to this forever? Like, do you want to commit to bodybuilding as a lifestyle? Kind of ties into the previous point of the transition after a show. So like, it's really like the lifestyle. Like, you shouldn't overindulge in drinking or in desserts or in highly processed foods, highly oily foods, things like that. And that goes hand in hand with like the lifestyle. So that's something that you just need to think about. Maybe consider, like, that wouldn't be something that would determine if you would do a show or not. But if you're not willing to commit to that type of a lifestyle, then you can't expect to hold that type of a physique forever. This should almost go without saying, but you will be tired, you will be cranky, and you will be hungry, okay? A lot. People around you won't necessarily understand what you're doing. They won't understand the process. They may know nothing about bodybuilding, or to them bodybuilding might be Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, people who take steroids and like are just totally juiced and jacked out. So when they see you going through this process of eating very little, being very cranky, you know, your hormones being whacked and upset, they're not going to understand it. So you need to have those hard conversations and educate yourself. Like, educate yourself first and foremost so you can share that information with them. I didn't really realize that, but it almost like this process of prep made me a better communicator almost, because I did had to have those conversations with my loved ones to be like, I am going to be okay. I'm doing this the healthiest way that I can. For me, at least, that's what I chose to do. So could I have been leaner? Yes. Could I have been more miserable? Yes. But I asked my coach not to do that to me. So it's more than likely that someone that you love will express concern for you, and you will just need to have that hard conversation of, I appreciate your concern for me. Things will be okay. And you know what? This process might take longer than anticipated because of the whole post-show transition that I just talked about. So that was really something that I hadn't thought of prior to committing to doing prep, but as through listening to resources and podcasts and things like that was addressed, and I was like, wow, it is actually very accurate and something that will happen at some point along your prep journey, unless you're already dating a bodybuilder or something. Another thought that I have, kind of more just like questions, I guess, but is being lean worth it to you? Is not going out worth it? Is not being able to have that dessert worth it? Is the endless hours of cardio worth it? Sure, people will compliment you on the way that you look and tell you look great, but is your mind doing okay? Like, is your mental health holding up to that? That's something that you need to determine, like what you value, you know, what you deem as important, what you can stand, what type of lifestyle you want. That kind of ties back into that as well. But I think it is harder with social media because all that we see of prep is the beautiful stage shots, the photo shoots that they do, the post-show food. You do see some of like the endless cardio and like the cleaner meals, but it doesn't seem that bad. Like, it seems like they're happy and they're fine and they're fun, but really, like, when I was 2 weeks out, I was literally so tired and always super concerned about what I was looking like and the scale not dropping fast enough and holding water too much and on and on and on, even though I was the lightest I'd ever been for a long time. Okay, this one is another mindset one or a mental health note. Let me check what it was again. Oh yeah, so you might be overwhelmed. Like, you might just feel overwhelmed by the whole prospect. Like, you just want to be normal post-show if you're someone who just did a show just to say you could do it, you know? Like, that's something that I've been thinking a lot. It's like, oh, I just want to be normal. I just want to be able to, you know, go on a bike ride with my friends and like stop for a snack and not feel bad or not be like, oh, should I try to fit this into my macros? Or like, oh my gosh, what can I compensate for? Like, oh, should I go do more cardio? I want to be able to make the choices that I want and like pick the right foods to fuel my body, as well as having those fun treats, but have enough knowledge to be like, okay, if I have some ice cream, then I need to supplement with X, Y, Z to sort of still have the right macronutrient distribution and percentages that I'm looking for. That's what I'm striving for. But all of that can be very overwhelming and is another post-show struggle that I did not foresee coming, and something that I'm yearning for and striving for now, which is another goal I have now, I guess. So this next one could literally be a whole video of itself, but meal plan versus macro. So these are just thoughts that I've had about it. So for my prep, I followed macros, and essentially what I could have done throughout the whole time is still eat processed crappy foods, but just made sure it fit my macros, you know, like only get my protein from protein powders and then like get carbs from chips and stuff like that. So I think for my personality, a meal plan would have been better, because that way your coach would lay out options for you, be like, meal 1, choose X amount of chicken, fish, or beef with X amount of carbs, or like potatoes, rice, cream of rice, whatever. And so like through that you would learn swaps, like savvy swaps like that. Like, oh, I can swap out cream of rice, like this much cream of rice for this much like cooked white rice or something like that. And so like I'm such a numbers focused person that some days like I would obsess over having to hit the right macros and having to be super meticulous about it, and just like worrying about it and being like, well, if I don't pre-plan my food, then I don't know if I'm going to actually hit them correctly. And it just, you can just tell it's making me like agitated right now. So I think it would have been at ease for me of just having that, like a sheet with options that I could choose and not have to worry about the precise macronutrients. And from resources that I've listened to, like podcasts and stuff like that, the higher level people are more than likely on meal plans. Like they're not on macros, so that you can't do the if it fit your macros thing. And this way, like, also I'm not a dietitian trainer or a nutritionist. Like I don't know what's best for digestion afterwards. And like I sort of do a little bit just from learning my own body, but like I don't know the science behind it exactly, and I'm trying to learn those things. So yeah, that's my take on meal plan versus macros. I think for me personally, if I ever do a prep again, I will probably, hopefully, just do a meal plan. One of the notes that I made was literally just, post-show hunger is a real thing. I just want to be normal and not hungry all the time. So funnily enough, oddly enough, I don't know, since I made that little note, I'm almost the opposite. I feel like I'm full all the time. I went through a super stressful time. Like I moved, I estimated some meals out. I had a super hard CrossFit workout, and so I got really sore. So I was holding a lot of water retention. My stomach, I just felt so bloated. I feel like a freaking sausage. Like today is the first day that I've become, like, felt more normal in my body again, like more confident and strong, and like not like I don't like how I look, kind of. So it's interesting. The emotional roller coaster does not stop after you step on stage. But throughout this whole process, I've been learning so much about myself and what I can stand and what I can't stand. So it is all very interesting, but it's difficult. So that's something that you need to be aware of, is prep is not going to be a walk in the park. It's going to be difficult. And finally, I think I made this note like a couple days ago, but I sort of touched on it already, in the fact that I kind of feel like I'm not normal. Like the example that I gave, like just going on a bike ride and being able to get a snack or whatever, I feel like I was a snacker before, which is probably why I, you know, was like hovering around the weight that I was, because I do enjoy snacking, and like sometimes I just need to like eat something, which is now, I'm glad that I did find Tic Tacs, because I can eat that and not feel bad, but I literally am addicted to them, so that's an issue. But yes, I almost feel like I'm not normal, because if I am out with people and they're like, hey, let's go get a donut or let's go grab some coffee, the very first thing that I will think of is literally, oh my gosh, could I fit that in my macros or not? Or should I just get like a tea, or just not eat and watch other people eat? Like all of these things go through your head. And what I want to find, ultimately my goal for this like improvement season, or just like post-show season, is to be able to find what I'm gonna call food freedom, and like having enough knowledge to fuel my body so that I can have optimal training in the gym. So making the right food choices for that and having the right nutrient timing. But then also being able to treat myself and then know sort of how to adjust my diet throughout the rest of the day according to that. That's really what I hope to find, because as of right now, I'm going to start school soon, and I'm just going to need to get through that. And yeah, I don't know if I will do a show again, but I do know that I want to get stronger in the gym. I do want to recomp my body and just like reach a new physique, just for personal reasons, you know, like cutting down for the show showed me what muscle I do actually have. And it is beautiful muscling, as the judges said, but I would love to have more size in my legs. I would love to have like more abs. I don't know. Right now, like my midsection is my most insecure part, okay, people? And it's the first thing that got watery and nasty after the show. Like I have no definition of my stomach right now. It's just a hot mess. So, yeah. Okay, so those were my post-show thoughts, or my thoughts on bodybuilding for me and my journey and my experience. Things that I want you to know before you make the decision to jump all in and spend 6 months of your life prepping for a show, and then the next 6 months trying to get back to some sort of normal. Of course, if you do decide to do a show, it's going to be an amazing experience. It'll be really fun. You'll learn amazing things. And if you don't decide to do it, you know, still have a goal, still work towards something, still honor and value your body, and take care of yourself. I cannot stress that enough. Like, I highly recommend doing prep or anything fitness related as healthy as possible, because this is the only body that we get, and we should treat it as a temple. As always, thank you so much for watching. I will start updating you on sort of my new life in Minnesota the next few weeks. Any other video ideas that you have for me, drop them below, of course. Go follow me on Instagram at ShanDanFit to stay up to date on my growth and motivational tips, and my Bodybuilding review will probably be over there, so go check it out. Also, tell them to sponsor me because I really love them. And with that, don't forget to like and subscribe on your way out. I will catch you in the next one. Mwah.